Well, it's the old sloth hiker again. I'm up here in western New York State. It's the day after, or Saturday after Thanksgiving. And out at the French Preserve. It's a little small trail out by French Creek. It's put together by the Nature Conservancy here in western New York State. I think I hiked this like the first year it was done, and I haven't been back since, so my shoes are terrible. I'm not sure. They're not waterproof at all, so I don't know what the trail will be like here, but we're going to give it a whirl and see what happens. So it's a nice little trail here. Goes out through some meadowland here. It looks like there's also some stuff that goes through some woods. French Creek is a little stream that eventually the water ends up in the Ohio River and the Gulf of Mexico, Mississippi and the Gulf of Mexico. So these are some of the headwaters of the Ohio Valley Basin. And it has a couple darters up here that are endangered. I think they're only found like 2 places in the whole United States. And there's also a couple snails that are protected here that are also endangered. So, kind of a neat thing. So this little clearing here is very typical of a western New York woods here up in the Chautauqua County area. We've got some beech and maple and a few oaks, like a hardwood stand up in the higher areas. And then if you look downhill, you go down the lower parts, you'll have stands of hemlock where it's lower and damper. And this is classic western New York. Hunted these areas all my life. It is deer season today. I didn't have any hunter orange, but I do have this red jacket. Thought I should wear that. I believe you can hunt on this land. In fact, there's a deer right down here. Well, there's French Creek behind me, and it runs along here. I don't know if you can see the other half of it here. Doesn't look too impressive right now. They've had some water and rain, but not a terrible amount for this fall. So, yeah, this is a pretty neat little trail, this Conservancy trail. Haven't been very many blowdowns. I had just one I had to kind of walk over, but not really a problem. And I saw a deer just as I was finishing up on the last video, but I couldn't get it so I could see it. So yeah, so there's a big field here that has just been left go. I don't know if you can see it out there or not, but and then it's kind of surrounded by woods here. So we're getting down near the creek, so you're going to be some softwoods down in here and some hemlock eventually. That's typical of what you see in western New York State. You can see the tunnel down into the evergreens from here. So So I've kind of come down the other end, kind of going backwards on the trail now from what I was. Met some people, a couple of them from Fredonia, and then one of the guys was from Troy, Ohio, so that was kind of neat. He was up seeing his family, so that was kind of fun. Yeah, it's been a nice little walk here. I'm gonna turn around and go back pretty soon. Sun will go down and won't be worth much after that sun goes down, but I wanted to just come in here into the hemlocks for a second. I can see, I don't know if you can see right up behind me, got a tree stand. I do know that they do allow hunting here. You have to get written permission to do that, but they do allow it. And there's a stand of hemlock. Usually there's some thick stuff around the hemlock, and a lot of times the deer will either bed down in that hemlock or in this stuff right next to it, and they can make a quick sprint out if they need to get out in a hurry. And this is lowland down here too. A lot of I don't want to say trash, but a lot of brush and stuff down in there. So oftentimes you'll see buck, they'll bed on the side of this kind of stuff here to stay warm, but it's really noisy. If any hunters come in, they can hear real quickly. They'll work down along the hemlock here and then down into the bottomlands and into more brush back there. This would be a fun little trail to come in the winter too. It's wide enough, and if you had enough snow in here, you could snowshoe, because not a lot of brush to get caught on. And if there wasn't too much snow, it wouldn't be bad walking. As you can see, the trail's a little damp. We have had quite a little bit of rain. Not a lot, not enough to get the creeks way up, but enough to soak the ground real good. But this trail, for the most part, is not too bad. Haven't been hardly any mucky spots. There are a couple bridges and a couple of kind of planks laid down for us. So yeah, it's been pretty good. It's be a nice place to camp if it was dry. There's some trees here I would love to hammock on. There are a lot of widowmakers here too, though, so that wouldn't be too good. If you're new to hammocking, or even if you're new to camping, one of the things you always want to do when you camp in the woods, you got to look around for trees that are dead, or maybe the top end is dead, or some dead branches that might come down in a windstorm. And even if it doesn't get windy, the last windstorm may have knocked it so that it's just on the edge, and just a little breeze can knock things over. So you really want to be careful of that kind of stuff. There's a hike down for the day. A fun little trail. I kind of lost the trail on the front end here, and so it ended up, I backtracked and then went around the other way and kind of went that way. So didn't do it quite the conventional way, but fun little trail. Pretty easy hike. which today I needed. So always good to get out. It's always fun to check some of these little spaces. There's some beautiful territory here, some really good deer country, and it's deer season here. So I was glad that there weren't any hunters there. They can hunt on this land, but they have to have written permission. So I wasn't too worried. I did see a tree stand in there, and I saw 2 deer. Wish I could have gotten them on film, but anyways, that was a fun day, and now I'm going to go home and get something to eat, have some leftovers, turkey and some stuffing. So hey, just remember, if I can do this, you can too. Hope to see you on the trail.